Hello my friends and welcome to welcome to this tutorial slash show off of this GSTGM landscape that I think I designed, and hopefully no one else has done this, but I'm going to show you how to build this kind of landscape, and I'm not block for block at all. I'm going to show you the rules of how you build this, because terraforming is all about rules, not just randomness, and that's something that a lot of people, that's a common mistake. Terraforming is about rules, not randomness. But I'm going to get right into this tutorial of how to build, not a tutorial, the rules of how to build this. Also, the path here, you need to, I don't know what to say. Here's what the path looks like. You should be able to climb a path without pressing space or without auto jump. Unlike that, there is a slab here. You have to, I hate people where you have to jump on paths. Don't do that. Do not do that. Anyway, this is how to build this landscape. You want to start off with just kind of random circle-ish shapes on the ground, like this. I'm not going to do that large of an area because I'm just doing this for the sake of the tutorial. But you can see the type of thing I'm doing. Don't be copying this block for block. Try and do this more or less by yourself, but with these rules, and I'm doing such a bad job of building this. Oh god. Just randomly building circles. Once you have built out your area, you've got all your circles like this, you want to start assigning random heights, and these are going to start becoming tubes. I like to go between 1 and 5 blocks tall with these tubes. You see I've got one tube there, and then this one's going to go a little bit higher. Okay? But this one is going to be a little lower. This one's only going to be that big. But this one is going to be this big. And yeah, you're going to keep doing this, assigning random heights to each tube. This one is going to stay at that height. This one's going to go up here. And I personally find this really, really fun to build. You might not, it's your opinion. But I absolutely love doing this. I could do this all day. And once you've given random heights to each one of the tubes here, then you're going to want to start topping them off with just this simple little thing. Each and every one needs to have a top. And actually, if you're doing this in a survival world, or a world that isn't set to peaceful like this one, you are definitely going to need to place torches in each of these, because if you don't, you're gonna have just a giant mob spawner pretty much. But once you have topped off every single one of the tubes, you should be left with a landscape like this, and it's perfectly okay for them to start merging like this. In fact, I encourage you to get tubes that kind of merge together like that. That's why, you know what, why don't we make this a little bit taller so you can tell it's still a tube. And now you've got a weird one like this, but it works, and I encourage you to make big masses like this. Honestly, now that I say that, I don't really like this one. Feel free when you're making this to just make little changes in places, just like that, you know, little change. It's not done much, but this, I like this. This looks good. Merge the tubes together like that is perfectly okay. Once you've done that, you're going to want to, I'm actually going to add one more tube here. You see, you're going to end up with things where you want to add another one. And that's good. That means that you're understanding what you're building. If you think, ooh, I feel like one should go there, you're understanding what you're building, and that's definitely a good thing. Okay, once you've done that, you want to find all of the little, dip down areas where you can see the grass, or any area that's lower down. You want to get cobbled deep slate, and you're going to want to fill in the bottom with cobbled deep slate. And you know what, I have actually purposely done this to show that actually, and then you're going to want to get your water, but actually it's not just right at the bottom that you're going to want to add water. You're going to want to add water at multiple heights, okay? And maybe in a situation like this, you might even want to start submerging one. Now, it's just, you don't need every block at the bottom to be deep slate, but make sure that a fair quantity of it is. But in this situation, this is still a tube, it doesn't have to be deep slate, okay? And right here, you might even want to, build upwards a little bit. You can see these ones are at a different height. This one's even higher. The idea here is it's rained into these tubes, and they've filled up, and that's, you know, they've filled up. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It sounded like I was gonna say more, but I'm not. Like that, fill the puddles. Yeah, and so if you look around here, you're gonna end up with all kinds of shapes. You're gonna have small puddles, you're gonna have big puddles, you're gonna have cool puddles like this, where items will infinitely move around in a whirlpool. Okay? And you're gonna fill in all the puddles, like I'm about to do. You should eventually be given something like this. And now you can really see it starting to take shape. And the last thing, actually the second to last thing left to do, is the moss. You're gonna wanna get some moss and some bone meal. And when you find a puddle, you're gonna put a moss down and you're gonna bone meal it. If you see something like this, where the moss has gotten quite far away from the water, remove that. You don't want moss that's far away from the water. You only want moss that's really close to the water, like this. Maybe even do a little bit yourself. Just don't have moss that's far away, because where's the moss getting its nutrients from? The moss needs water. Where there's water, there's moss. And that is the main thing that a lot of people wouldn't think to do, really. I feel like you want to make sure. This is what I'm talking about with the rules, you know? If moss is just randomly about, it doesn't look as natural, you know? You need to make sure that the moss is only where there's water. And I'd like to make sure that the moss kind of actually connects up to the water, like it does here. Too far away. Obviously, with big patches like this, you're going to end up with quite a lot of stone. But where you've got big lakes like this, you're going to get quite a lot of moss. If there's more water, maybe the moss can spread further away. I don't know. There you go. Moss. And there we go. That is, I think, moss done. Just like this. Water, moss. No water, no moss. That's that simple. I like putting these little islands every now and again. I think it adds a lot. You need to make sure that you've still got a considerable amount of stone, because when I first made this, there was way too much moss. You could hardly see any of the stone, and I just didn't like it. This still needs to be pebbles. In fact, this actually kind of looks like, you know, if you shrunk this down to a tiny scale, you know, it's like a swamp kind of thing. Actually, this is very swamp-like. It's a rocky swamp. The GSTGM rocky swamp, but that doesn't have as much ring to it as GSTGM landscape to me. And then we want to move on to the path. You see right here we've got a little trail to this point where there is no water. You want to find where there's no water. You want to minimize building little bridges in places and removing water. Maybe, you know, every now and again you want to remove some water, that's fine, but try and minimize it. I've got so much lag right now. Okay, there you go. You've got a little dripstone path over to here. Let's say this is the entrance here, right? And I'm just gonna build a starting ground. This is not part of it, but this is just where you're gonna start walking from. Okay? Now you want to get stone. You want slabs. You want pressure plates. And you want buttons. And you're going to start by just kind of placing slabs where they need to be with the path, you know, so that you can get around without needing to jump, because I can't emphasize this more. If you need to jump to traverse your path, then it's not a real path. You can't be jumping around. That's hiking if you're jumping. Yeah. Here you can see this is all connected up, and I can walk across it without hitting the spacebar, like that. But this, you wanna, you know, make it look more natural by adding some pebbles, stuff, you know. Maybe even have some dripstone around the sides, just to, you know, make it fit in with the terrain a little more. Buttons, pressure plates, and like that, you have now created, or well, I have, but hopefully you have as well, a area here, and you wouldn't be able to tell that this was built after all of this, would you? This is the GSTGM landscape. Thank you all so much for watching to here and enjoying my lovely landscape. I want to be known for this. This is my thing. If you steal it, I will be sad. And I hope that you enjoy having this landscape around your base. Anyway, please like and subscribe if you've gotten this far. It means so much to me. It means the world. You can't imagine, because I'm a small YouTuber. And please do share my channel to everyone you know. Anyway, but that's all. Thank you for watching. TGM out.